Okay, so,
Do you need a motion to get back in
motion to,
session? I'll make it if
Resume.
necessary.
Support,
okay, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Motion passed. Let's go. Welcome to the budget workshop.
So in my recollection, can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was gone out of town for a meeting and a half or 2 meetings, but 3 weeks ago, when we talked about setting up a budget workshop, it was gonna be the first one of the year that the board got together and talked about what their projections are for the budget of 2021.
in
That was
for
our
all of
first
these
meeting.
or in detail?
No, in general.
Okay,
That was our first meeting, because we haven't sat here and talked about, is there anybody thinking about potential raises for the year or whatever we're talking about?
I agree
So this was
completely.
the first thing. Then when I was gone, I understand that Adam and Trina, that asked Trina in the finance meetings to start putting this stuff together, which is great with the Excel sheets and all that. But our first meeting, I'm assuming, is just to try to get our mindset together on how we're proceeding with this.
Yep.
so you're both on the same page, obviously,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
which
thinking.
is fine, I'm fine with that.
Because I'm just going based on my past experiences. It seems to me like everybody looks at the whole budget in total, and then comes back and we talk together about it because we've all looked at the entire budget. Well, what about we break it up into pieces amongst us, and we could focus better on one small part each. I say small, it's all huge,
Okay,
and then come back and then
Different.
Oh,
talk at that
oh,
point.
sorry. Here.
Okay.
can I throw out a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I like your approach, I support it. So, we know at least that 214 and Friends of the Court are going to get raises. It's in the contract, we can't do anything about it.
If it's that helpful to
It is not inconceivable that
she gave it to me
POM,
last
well, they're
year,
not gonna be
remember?
POM, but whatever the two unions are across the street, they will also probably get a raise.
Potential exists, yep.
Yeah. So then I'm asking, my question is, where do we have a position, and if so, what are we leaning towards as far as if those folks get raises? I mean, we know we're tight, no matter what you say, we're tight. Do we then also consider raises for the non-union
Thank you.
folks?
That's exactly why we're here, is to have this discussion so we can project our budget for 2021.
Thank you.
That was my intention when I tried to set it up, when I got back last Wednesday for last Thursday, to have a meeting last Thursday. That was my projection, is let's sit down and talk as a board. You're right, there's some departments already getting raises. There's probably a good chance that the union, whatever they do, but to argue with no raises, you want to project that, or are we going to project?
I have a difficulty with being, I hesitate to use the word force, but having been logistically, contractually
Right.
put in a position whereby part of the staff gets raises, they're all working equally hard.
I 100% agree.
And so to leave out, for instance, these three people
Right. No.
and their staff that is non-union, they're all union here, but anyway, I have a little bit of an issue with that.
Well, my personal opinion is that we should, as putting this preliminary budget together, and we're not gonna know what's gonna happen till maybe December, and this budget's already gotta be done by then,
Sure.
is that we should project a 1% everybody across the board, and our numbers for next year. That's what I feel we should, whether it happens or not, or it's even more, but I think we need to think that way. There's already some gonna get raises, and I just.
And all departments did not do that.
Huh?
Up.
I know departments haven't done it because we haven't given that direction, or whatever, but I personally think,
How can they fill out their budget and then have it due on the 15th and they don't have any direction on
I
that?
understand
So
that.
we got what we got.
right, we got what we got.
Well,
That's why we're
and-
having this.
And
meeting.
those were the neck down numbers. It was everything staples and below.
They
Right.
budgeted at no raise.
Yeah, right. But that's why we're having this meeting, is the idea of us, as the 5 board members, saying that we're gonna put our foot in the ground and say there is gonna be no raises and project our budget as of that and put a budget together with no raises, knowing probably in the back of our mind that there's definitely gonna be some. And they probably, all our employees probably deserve it, but I think it's just part of what's gonna happen. So that's in order to come up with as close a budget as we can before all this happens, that's what we're here for, right? Just to figure out, what we wanna ask our departments to project,
So what's in here right now, as of what the departments have provided me, some of them have projected a raise, but some of them have not. So what we did do though is for any union employees, we looked at their contracts and their step increases and we projected that into 2021.
Okay.
So
Oh, you
for,
did put the contract, the new
Yes,
contract figures
yes.
in. Oh, great, okay.
so all those projections on the salaries for union members, well, at least for Teamsters, because POAM and they're
Yeah.
under review or whatever. But as far as Teamsters goes, their projected 2021 rates are in here.
That was it, just Teamsters was the only
Just
one. that you could do.
Teamsters.
Is that
but,
1%? Or what is?
They have a step increase, it's
Oh.
2%.
That's why we asked you for what the current contract,
Oh, I didn't know, I hadn't gotten that request.
yeah,
It's-
you sent me a list. This is 3 weeks ago, but don't worry, sorry.
It's 2%, so.
Okay.
Now, how many, I know one department had put in their pay increase. How many others did?
Well, if you look at the departments, you'll see, just whatever ones did not add in an increase, it would just be the same as what it was budgeted last year. If you wanna look
What
at.
department are you in, Carolyn?
Pardon me?
What department are you in?
Well,
Just looking.
257 has an increase.
Right,
I'm looking. So far, that's the only one that I see.
I believe prosecutor's
far.
office does.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Oh, these aren't
I
broken down
forgot
by
about that.
department?
They're
You
broken
gotta
down
go
by
down to
funds.
By funds.
You got it.
If you, if you read it off, I can basically tell you which department is which fund.
Well, and
On that second page, it shows the department.
Am I
Oh, there we
wrong?
go, thank you.
I mean,
What's
didn't we,
257?
I'm going to it.
Equalization.
Oh,
when we sent out, had Trina send out the Excel sheets 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we asked for the preliminary budgets, but we didn't ask them to get into the wages or that.
You didn't ask anything.
No,
We didn't
no.
It was,
specify.
it wasn't specified,
Right, it wasn't specified, but, I mean,
so they took it at their own.
they took it as their own, but, I mean, I think we need to decide today what we want to do. Is there going to be a potential raise? Is there not going to be a potential? So they can put that back in. It's not going to be hard, so they can put that back into their projected budgets, right? I mean, that's what we need to do. I mean,
That's what they, but if I'm thinking, just so you know my thought process, you've given them that opportunity to express what they'd like to have. Ultimately, it comes down to your decision on whether those numbers are gonna be appropriate or not.
Right.
So at this time, just because that one was brought up, you look at what was budgeted this year and look at next year, and those are the amendments that generally you can make. I mean, you would wanna consult with them. But if you're talking like the other ones are unions, so that's what she had calculated, and that would be the appropriate numbers. But as far as the rest of it, but that also changes all the down numbers that you've calculated based off what's here. The numbers underneath that.
Right.
I'm just,
Right,
Do you
and
know the percentage that Teamsters went up?
2%.
2%, okay, thank you.
And, also,
You need to break this down
because,
different. You can just.
because some departments submitted their budgets,
the heading is
With
just
their
a fun number.
I'm sorry, what? Since some of the departments submitted their budgets with their revenues and they had their revenues and appropriations balanced out, they didn't have the ability to calculate MERS, and they didn't have the ability to calculate workers' comp or any of that, or FICA. So when I calculated that information, it changed their revenues and appropriations, so they're gonna be off.
Oh, that was like the library.
Like the library, it's all of them.
It's all of them.
Because none of them had their MERS calculated, for instance, or their FICA, unless they just moved it over, and it has adjusted because they put in, they might have put in a raise for themselves as a department head, and then they didn't recalculate their FICA based on that, they just moved their FICA over, so
Right.
that raises their FICA
So it raised their.
and their wages. If they add in their wages, that also changes the way I have to calculate MERS. So I think one of the main things we should decide on is if you want to project a 1% raise across the board, then I can calculate the wages at a
Right.
1% raise. So that way we have a more clear idea as to MERS, FICA, all of those things.
100% agree. That's exactly why I think we're here. I mean, you went way beyond a lot of work right now that I wasn't expecting to be done yet, but that's great, but.
Now they tell you.
Well, no.
No, I'm kidding.
She just went and did this, which is excellent. I mean, this
Yeah.
first time it's ever been done, which since I've been here, but this is great. But yeah, you need the direction from us. If we think there's going to be a 1% raise, then you, as you're doing all your work, can put that in there. Then we see where our budget, we see the numbers we projected for 21. I mean, that's what we got to do. I mean, that's one of the first things we got to do.
I'd agree.
I mean,
Well, and the health insurance rate that just came in yesterday.
yeah, and she was figuring at 15%, I think, right?
I reduced it back down to 6.2.
Okay, yeah.
Carolyn had helped figure M at 5, 10, 15%. So we took her 5%, Trina did, and just added the 2% with the exact calculation of what the increase was.
Okay, and that's perfect.
For the health insurance. Which that wasn't bad. That really wasn't too bad of an increase at all.
And then also something to discuss is, I've filled in the HSA amounts per what the employees are currently doing. So that gives you an idea on that, but,
Right.
that's also something that.
Yeah, and that's great because that's all we can do until, we're gonna go out, as we said today, and try to get some other bids against our health insurance. So all we can do right now is see what we got coming in, project what we had the same as last year. And if that changes in December or whatever, it just changes. At least we know what our budget numbers are going in.
No,
But on the punch list, along with raises, is HSA contributions.
Yeah, sure, yeah. But it goes in with the increase in the health insurance.
Yeah.
If you're getting a 6 or 7% increase in health insurance, are you gonna absorb that cost and not change the HSA contribution?
Right.
Because you're absorbing the 6% of what you're gonna do, whatever that is, We might get a quote and it comes back that it's the same as last year. We don't know, But at least they're putting the numbers in there so we know what those numbers are.
Right. Well, I get this feeling that everybody's worried about doing redundant work, and I get it. But every year, we're having 10 special meetings in December to try to wrap this stuff up. and
It's so
it's
far
ridiculous.
ahead of this. I think you're gigantically far ahead, don't you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't want to discount any work that's been done so far, because
No.
it's what we need, it's what we needed to happen.
Oh,
'Cause
100% agree.
all this is just a guessing game in the first place, really. Trying to figure out what's going to happen next year. So, okay, we're getting pretty far down the rabbit hole here, but once we get what's the word? Income. Help me. Income
Once
side.
the revenues are.
Once we get the revenue
established.
side and we get the bottom line, that's when the real work starts, right? We got to figure out if we're going to be above or beyond or whatever, and figure out where to make the cuts or not have to cut.
I'd like to suggest that from my perspective, there's no reason that the activities from 6:48 on, almost, not all, but almost all of those can be filled out now, and those can be entered at her convenience. There's only about a page of them, less than a page, actually.
Yeah.
But, and I don't expect her to provide those figures. I'm saying that one of us can go through and pick out what those should be. You can't do them all, but you can do most all of them.
You mean revenues?
Number of these.
No, expenditures.
You're talking expenditures.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. from activity 648 down through 696, or I'm sorry, 969. Those can all pretty much be done.
As a carryover, you're saying?
No, I'm not saying it's a carryover necessarily. For instance, contractual services, in theory, autopsies should probably be a 0 for next year. But the 714, the contracted services, that's going to be 22,000, I think that figure is.
So 648.
Yeah, okay, so she's talking about any of the payroll items. If you look at the second or the third page, actually the second page starts with the commissioner.
Well, yeah, that
At
one
the
needs
very
to be done.
bottom.
Oh, and then when you get to
And
six
so when you
forty-eight
get to the 600s,
yeah,
like all of your, well, yours starts with 700s.
648, starting with 648, we can fill those in.
Where are you saying, 648?
101, 648. It's the
Oh,
autopsy.
she's way in.
Way in there. What fund are you in?
101.
Okay.
I'm only talking, do we have more than 101? We do have more than 101.
Yeah, you have
We
everything.
have all the funds.
Okay. But I'm saying that those are all fairly easy numbers to come up with.
right.
Gotcha.
Not all of them.
Caught up with you.
Some are dependent upon other things happening. But I'm saying that
Right here, Dan.
we can get those filled in for Trina, so she can go ahead and enter it. Now, it's not a huge part of the budget, but it's another part that needs to be done.
Well, that's on the second page that I gave you, this little 2-page breakout for 101.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shows who is basically in charge of putting those budgets together.
Oh, I thought this was this is,
Go to the next page.
but
I know, I'm with you.
I'm sorry. I
Those
thought
are
that
the
was continuation
departments.
of this. Okay,
Those were the departments.
right.
So
right.
426, 430, 648 and down would be something that
Exactly.
you as a board would be.
Yeah, four
And if you
twenty-six.
Should be
wanna-
doing.
If you think he should be, and that's where I think Adam was looking at getting this organized was, okay, Dan, you've got emergencies, so you're gonna be working with Scott on emergency services to get this done. I'll take the medical examiner, that number, that department. I think that was kind of what Adam's thought was.
Yeah, that's
Putting-
what I was leaning towards, because it's just been kind of shotgun style up until now to me.
So you would have
Or, bless your heart, not bless your heart, but good for you and thank you for all your hard work. But you, in years past, when you and I was on
Finance.
finance with you,
Right.
Carolyn would do the whole shoot
Yeah,
match.
the
I called like, Adam, do you want to meet? Oh,
So-
yeah, maybe.
I just told you
I
a
love it.
compliment, and now you come after me. Jeez Louise. All right. That's fine.
I
No,
get
but
what
that's
you're
what it
saying,
is.
filling that in, but that's why I included that department sheet, so.
Right.
Because if you guys are at a point where you're looking at this and you see that 253 is not filled in, which I can tell you that it's not, you're gonna know to come to me and say, hey, I need your budget, I expected it yesterday, I want it today. And I'll be able to do that, and that's where I think
Right. So,
putting that, at least the general fund in perspective, I did give you a list of the other funds and who. and
Right.
That's
I
good,
didn't,
too.
it's not included in this one.
right.
Did you ever get an answer on your liaison question?
Which liaison question?
The school?
The school resource officer?
Yeah.
No. Yes, I did get an answer. No, they're budgeted for 0. The school has not reached out and
Okay.
said that they're
Right,
going to
right.
do that.
No, that makes it easy.
So, I guess I would turn, if I may, to the finance committee and say, do you want help? I'm looking at the 101 activities. Do you want any help on any of those where it says commissioners? And if so, do you want to assign those, or do you want to do them yourselves, or what?
Haven't thought about it.
What do you mean?
Well, on the sheet that Cheryl
Yeah.
has.
Here's
slides
all
with.
the different
Right,
departments
that's-
of
that's
the
the one, yeah.
general fund.
Yeah, everything from 351 and above is all different departments.
So,
Except for the very, well,
There's
there's
a
two
couple
that
of
aren't.
them.
so
Wow.
can we get volunteers to bird dog
And
one or more of these? That's what I'm looking for. Who wants
Tell
to
me.
put their name next to one of these? Who?
I don't
you
have no
pick,
problem.
and
Which
leave
one do
me.
you want me to put my name next to?
Whatever one you would like to. And you would have the best knowledge to go, oh, the easy one, this one, this one, this one. And I'm fine with that.
the clerk has taken on, obviously, the fringe and the insurance bonds.
Right.
Insurance and
I'll do emergency services with Scott.
Okay,
And,
which ones do you want to do,
I mean,
Gary?
there's only a couple more.
Okay, what's appropriations outside and what's the other one?
Appropriations, outside services and other county funds.
That would be like, I'm sorry for stepping in, but like the Recyclers Pure Michigan Substance Abuse Convention Facility.
Hill,
No.
not Hill, 211,
Yep, 211.
dashboard, district health,
Yep.
mental health, all those.
And then
That's-
what's appropriated to
What's that?
That'd be good.
Law
Carolyn,
library.
She's,
You know,
I guess some initial.
Carolyn would be good for the 968, 969.
Okay,
She's well versed in that.
Which one?
I can do
I'm gonna
968 and
just put
969 if you
Yeah,
want.
CNB by those two.
EB.
I can do
Fund
medical
too?
examiner, that's pretty close. That's easy.
Medical examiner is gonna be,
Yeah,
DG.
That's gonna be easy.
yeah, that's easy. I
Okay,
mean,
I'm doing 968 and 969 then, right?
Okay,
Yep,
yep.
got
Okay,
it.
do you want me to do any others?
Well, we got Gary and Adam.
Yep,
Contingency and transfer, I guess. Who do I deal with on that?
That's just-
well, I think,
leftover.
Gary, if it's
Yes.
all right with
Yeah.
you, 850, 851, and 890, all three of those aren't really that complicated of a
No,
deal, if you
no.
wouldn't mind doing those.
Okay.
Which one?
850, 851, and 890.
Gary. Yeah,
850.
they're really, that's kind of like on the inside. And then animal shelter, that's Adam.
I thought you said the clerk had 851.
850 and 851.
They've handled that.
It's already pretty much
That's done?
done.
Yeah, so it's just contingency.
Don't have to worry about that one.
And contingency is what you think you might have to allocate later that you can't put
If we
a
could
place
pause
for.
for a moment, because we are looking at contingency. I feel very strongly, and I've advocated this for probably 30 years. I believe each activity needs to have a small contingency. I'm talking $50. Now, the sheriff has more than that because he runs into greater, bigger problems. But their two offices need to have a $30 or $50 contingency. If they go over a little bit in postage,
Oh, I put in
they're like in
400.
November and say, where am I gonna get this money for postage? Or whatever it may be, files or
Thank you,
whatever.
Stephanie.
You're
So
welcome.
give them each, I'm saying $50, there's nothing magical
myself
about
400
50, 40, 60,
I
whatever.
had 100, I didn't
In
know that.
every single activity, almost every single activity, even elections certainly, data processing probably should have 100 or 200,000, or 100 or $200 of contingency. You run into things through the year and then you're fighting to find out, where am I gonna get, I just need a few dollars, but where am I gonna get it from? And so you'd be going to other activities and robbing them, and where if you just had $50 sitting in your own, sometimes you need $100. Well, if you got 50 to start with in your contingency, you can squeak another 10 off of here, another 20 off of here. But I think it, as a general budgeting process, I think we should always have a small amount in a contingency line item for every activity.
Okay,
Something to think about.
so what are the ones, so both these 850 and 851 are done then?
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty much done.
Okay,
Gary,
Getting done, yeah.
Gary to contingency and Adam 430, Adam
I'll do governing body too.
governor.
Now,
101.
969 can't totally be done because the biggest item in there is the child care fund, and we are obligated to fund 1/2 of their budget.
Right.
So their budget came in somewhere in the mid 300s this year. And so we were at, I'm going to say 150, but I don't remember exactly. Anyway, So, but if their budget were to come in at 400, then we're obligated to put in 200. Doesn't mean we're gonna necessarily
I know,
spend it,
I understand.
but that obligation's there, so that figure might float a little bit until we get, but they also have to turn theirs in October, so we'll know.
What was your other one, Adam? I'm sorry.
I'll do governing body and judicial activities, MIDC. We'll give Craig the dog warden.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're
That's
going
the
up,
last
in
one
you're
left.
going up in the other line items too, okay.
Anything that says commissioners by it, yeah.
It doesn't, where's this commissioners, but it doesn't say commissioners by judicial, oh yeah, judicial, it
Yep,
does,
right
okay.
there,
I see.
299.
The MIDC grant, who is, Mr. White?
Well, Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer,
He's very good about doing that. He's probably already submitted it
hopefully.
to the state.
What's his first name?
Phil. No, Bill Pfeiffer. Fife.
Bill
Pfeiffer.
Bill?
Phil
Bill.
White.
Phil
Bill
White.
Pfeiffer, yeah.
Yeah,
Not Phil Pfeiffer because that was.
no, Bill Pfeiffer,
I know we're on.
like is in billing.
William. Didn't
Bill,
clarify.
got it. Okay, those are the ones that say commissioners, so we'll get those wrapped up. And
Who
then
took emergency services?
Dan,
Dan,
DG.
and everybody else, Sheriff,
Contingency was blank.
took care of their.
No, I've got that.
Gary's gonna work on that.
Yep.
So then, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'd like to, for the meeting, I'd like to make a motion that we direct all our departments to figure in a 1% raise, a possible 1% raise in their 2021 budget.
A non-union.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll support that.
They gotta be able to start figuring something, and there's no sense of not figuring it, and then it's better off to figure it so we know where our numbers are on expenses, our revenues.
Is it clear that we're not awarding a 1% raise?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
making sure. I don't want it to read like we just gave everybody 1% raise.
No.
Okay.
So basically, they're
Budgeting
submitting a
purposes.
budgeting
Budget.
We'll
purposes
forecast the
only.
Right.
potential of a 1% raise. I just
Right.
don't want anybody to come back and go,
Well, I
hey.
understand. Well,
My
I mean,
budget says so.
That's right.
well, I think it's the only way that they're gonna be, right now, some are putting it in, which they're already entitled to. I mean,
Yep. No, I agree.
I think that's the right way to do it. So then Trina is getting these numbers, she's putting it in, she's figuring out the MERS, everything down the line, and it's all there,
What?
And if it changes, it changes. If it decreases, increases, but at least we got something in there for our preliminary budget.
What's our current contribution for
HSA,
HSA?
I'm sorry. Say that again?
HSA current is 2,000 total? isn't
No.
it?
One,
It's, yeah, 1,000
1,000,
and 2,000.
2,000.
So
1,000,
$500
Oh,
in
for
January,
singles and
$500
families.
in
Yeah.
July, 1,000.
1,000, 2,000.
All right, do we want to carry that forward for budget purposes only, or do we want to consider less
I would move it forward for budget purposes
at the current?
That's my opinion.
Do we need a
First of all, you gotta vote on the
This is
motion.
imaginary money at this point.
Yeah. we
Yeah,
don't need
if,
that.
first of all, you need a vote on the motion that's on the floor and second it.
Yeah, but we don't,
we don't really need that as a
Yeah, well,
motion,
that's
do we?
Because of MERS and all that.
not to submit to the budget, I don't think.
Okay, so
Not if these are
Okay.
just, I mean,
Yeah, as a
if I'm
workshop.
understanding the thing,
There you go.
if that's the way we're proceeding, then that's fine.
You
Okay.
can refer to.
you wanna withdraw that,
numbers
Dan?
And see what's different.
Well, I guess,
Because it
I
will be
mean,
like MERS, like,
I mean, there's no need.
There's
Letting
no
everybody
action.
But
know
then
that.
there's just
It's
no
nice
action.
to look in, I guess it's a good reference back if you want to look at the minutes and say,
Yeah,
what
it's
did
the
we actually
minutes.
decide to do?
Well, you can just enter it as
However you
a
want.
discussion. Why go through a motion? We're not deciding anything. We're just giving them a direction to go in. I mean, that's my personal.
Let's add that to the motion that's already on the floor. Let's add it to the last motion, that we'll go the 1% projected for non-union and amend it to NSA and the same contribution as last year for HSA.
HSA,
Just so they can fit, just for budgeting
for
purposes.
budget
Yep,
purposes.
for budgeting purpose only.
Budget purposes only, right, there you go.
which is
So that takes care of FICA, that takes care of everything right down the line.
Everything, all right, yeah. But you have it on a spreadsheet, right?
Yep. The HSAs I won't change because they're all projected already that way.
Right.
You carried those all right over. from the,
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
verified, new employees and all that.
You know, and the way I'm looking at this, maybe as far as the finance committee goes, I was expecting we'll get these, and then we'll be able to look at what the department submitted, what their activity is up to this year, and then there's some things like the HRA and that, they never budgeted before,
Right,
so
you
it's our
can't-
job to say, hey, are we gonna put money into their budget for that? That's what I was
Yeah, we gotta catch
expecting.
those for sure.
Yeah, we
year.
gotta catch that stuff, but they gotta submit everything that they know of right now, and then we need to go through each one
Yep.
and do that. That's, so,
So-
and so that people see what their MERS now in the new division is gonna look like for budget purposes.
Right, right.
So-
So with that being said, now, do we wanna divide and conquer that task as well?
Well, do you want to finish up since you?
well,
made
no,
a
we gotta let them
motion?
get it all turned in first.
Well, I just revised that last motion. We gotta vote on it, I guess.
I would think so.
All right, so, the motion was to revise the last motion to include
The HSA,
1% and the HSA rates from last year.
For
budget
Zoning.
Bubba's, yep.
All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes,
All those opposed?
I will
Motion
say no.
carries. Oh, got one. Got one no.
No, I don't see a need for a
That's
motion
why
to
you're-
tell somebody, put something together.
you know, to answer your question that you just put out there, I don't think we need to divide into groups on these other budgeted, department budgets till we get that back.
Okay.
Let Trina do her stuff. If we let them know all this now and let them know that they have to get it back right away, as soon as possible, then we be able to meet in a finance meeting relatively quick and start going through them.
Well, you can always have fun and say you can use last year's
mean-
figures if you don't come up
I
with
mean,
this year's.
Trina, Sheila, Stephanie, Cheryl, they've all got notes and all that of different departments and what things we need to look at. So, and the departments, they don't know that, maybe. So let them get their stuff into us with these numbers that we feel are correct, and then we can look at each one of them. We can go through it pretty fast.
Finance will work it out, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then if we have to break up, yeah, why not?
Okay.
well, it'll give Trina some time too, on top of all the health benefits are coming up due right now, so.
And I'm not
Because
trying to,
it's gonna have to be refiguring the MERS and your FICA. and
Yeah,
what
right,
she
that's
said,
what
By
she's-
with your
yeah.
1%, so.
And yeah, you can handle that?
I'm handling it.
I can help now that my ballot order's done.
Hey, I submit a request also, please, that all budget figures at this point do not have any cents in them. They are rounded to the nearest
Right.
dollar.
Right.
I'm rounding them.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
if people submit something like
I know.
$7.24.
I know.
It's $7. Now, if you want to move everything up a dollar, I'm fine with that.
Do you want me to round up?
Round up.
Yeah, I would say round up.
Always?
Yeah.
Always round up.
That's what I was thinking, because I mean,
On
if you're gonna be
expenditures.
20 cents short.
Round down on the revenues, up on expenditures.
Okay.
But it drives you crazy to have somebody with 27 cents or 48 cents or 62 cents.
Seems like there was a couple other things that were sticking out besides the MERS, but maybe it was the HRA.
Yeah, the HRA,
Oh,
the
the
deductibles.
Max deductible.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what you're,
There was
I'm
something
thinking.
else.
oh yeah, that's definite consideration. We're gonna
Yeah.
decide,
Yeah.
we're gonna go forward the same or ask for something.
You know, I'm thinking we could just get that bill and just stick those max amounts for as of what they are right now to give it a better visual for next year,
And are we thinking like,
unfortunately.
Ooh, that's, the max is gonna throw everything
not the
way out
max,
of whack.
but like maybe
She
like the
was even
minimum?
talking on a single individual.
Like
within a-
$4,000.
Yeah.
Where we
That's
had
what the-
$10 before.
Yeah, right, I understand that.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
So just add in for the HRAs per department, $4,000 for each employee.
Participating, yeah.
Cause it's max 8, right? It's 4 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They pay the first and last thousand.
I mean, and that's still, we have
Four
to,
and
you know,
six.
that gets into, once we get our hard numbers on our insurance, that's, it's things we have to talk about in that, but right now, for this budgeting purposes, yeah.
Say here is what it could be.
Yeah, this is what it could be. I mean, we need to have that, instead of having these,
Contingency transfers.
Now, not to get off the subject, but, since we talked about getting other quotes, I called Alpena Agency, you're gonna put an ad in the paper, right? Okay, but I called Alpena Agency, Mark Boyd, who is a contact, anyway, he was more than happy and excited enough to quote our insurances. But what he needs is he needs a list of our employees and all their information, so he knows the numbers and all that kind of stuff in order to quote. Don't we have, there isn't a list of that?
Of an exact list of what?
Employees that are in insurance. I mean, their names, their,
He needs your name?
well, I don't know. or-
Because you can look at a
I-
group.
I've
and
got
see
his
how many
phone number
single,
down
double
here.
family.
I got his phone number down here that maybe Trina
That
or
should
you
work.
can call. Yeah, I mean, I just talked to him and he said he'd be more than happy.
Yeah,
But he needs some information that's why I have it wrote down here.
Yeah,
To
we can,
give to one of you two girls to
Okay.
get a hold of him.
let's go with that out at the finance meeting.
But you also,
Set it right
because when you put the request for proposals out, you're gonna have to give them some information. We have
Yep.
Yeah.
125 employees, 5 are this, 10 are this, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
they
wanna-
They're gonna need a breakout in order to give us. a
We
quote.
have that,
Right,
yeah.
yeah, and
Right on the bill.
he said he needs to know how many are even getting the insurance buyout. Yeah, they need to have that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just general information, but I did talk to him, so you guys know, there's his phone number, his email's on there, if not, I'll write it down. No, I didn't write it down. Here,
I got the phone, I got his phone number.
okay, email, I'll write it down. I know.
You got it?
Yeah, it's,
Okay, any other questions, concerns, comments, issues? For today?
I just want to say you guys have done a great job on this, but Trina's done a really great job too.
Trina dedicated the last few days directly solely to budget.
So she's really,
Thank you.
Cheryl's just an old hand. So
yeah.
she does it in her sleep.
No, she still does a good job.
She does. She does.
Okay.
And you got really nice printing.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
Scott, you've been sitting here listening to all this stuff. You got something to say?
Yeah, you got any input there, Scott?
No, I didn't. I just listed it in. I think sounded like some good work was done today. And, yeah, I was just kind of listening because probably like the other department heads, I was kind of lost on how to do that. So, I figured all mine based on, no raises for next year, pending contract negotiations. And, also some of the health insurance things were big question marks for us to put in there. So I did the best I could and, I think I came up pretty decent numbers and fairly accurate. So, yeah, but good work today. Sounded good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
How about,
When will we have the operating engineers, what their insurance is gonna be for next year? I don't have that number in the contract, they gotta get it to us.
when will we?
What's that?
What, you're asking us when will we have it?
Yes.
We haven't heard anything from operating engineers as of yet.
Oh, you come in at the right time,
Kinda figured in a
just
ballpark,
about.
You know, based on previous years.
Nobody's fighting.
And add a little bit to it.
We actually,
We decided to take all your
No,
money
we
and give
don't
it to
do anything.
everybody else.
yeah.
We
We
don't
usually
ask him
don't
what he
have
had
your
last
rates.
year.
No, in my contract, it's
What
all.
his insurance bill was?
We've got
Or
a dollar.
the-
Well, so would it be
They
same,
give us a rate. We don't do anything with their.
There is no
invoices.
rate because they've already, the number's already been figured.
yeah, so
The
it would
cost
be
is
no
already
different.
done
The
for
first 3
2021.
years of the contract, it clearly tells you what the monthly premium is per employee. 2021, there's 5 asterisks, they have to get that information to you.
Oh,
That's an unknown. So I'm
We haven't
asking,
got
when will
any.
the unknown be known?
I guess we can email Carrie and find out if there's any rates. I don't know if Carrie's
So,
the one that.
Are you
gave
sure
us
there's an
those rates.
asterisk for 2021?
Yes, sir.
So there wasn't for last year, though?
No, the first 3 years of the contract,
Okay.
it spells it out very clearly.
Yeah,
But the 4th year of the
Yep.
contract, 2021, there's a bunch of asterisks and there's a disclaimer paragraph below it that says, when we know the numbers for 2021, we'll
Right.
forward it to you.
Okay, anything else?
adjourned? I get to come just to adjourn everything?
Yeah, it kinda seems that way. You guys can hang out, we can do a quick finance, or no?
Sure.
You okay with that, Dan?
yeah, 100%.
Good job, everybody.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Approved. So moved.
See you in 2 weeks.
Well, you put Craig on something, didn't you?
Yeah.
I stuck